Hello, it's me.
What is going on, YouTube? Good morning, good morning. It is early in the morning and we can't sleep, so we're going to get into this. Thank you again for all the support. There's been a couple of people who've watched the entire video. I really appreciate that. The watch time is still going up, so thank you. Right now, we're covering, let's see, tensions rise in D.C. Speaker Johnson's bold message on day 22 of the government shutdown. So, if y'all don't know, the government's been shut down for almost a month now. That means that government employees, good ones and bad ones, are going to have to get laid off. There's no way around that, Democrat and Republican. That also means we can't pay our military, and that does mean eventually it's going to stifle benefits to Americans if we can't pass this thing. But Trump, fortunately, has been able to take out tax revenue, which is tariff revenue, basically, and he's been able to pay the troops, but it's not infinite. And the longer that we have to do this, the more it is destroying our country. It is a threat to democracy for sure. So let's get into this. Ooh, that is loud. Wow.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 22 of the Democrat shutdown. Well, it's already been, as we noted yesterday, the longest full government shutdown in history.
This is a disaster.
October 22nd marks another landmark. This is now the second longest government shutdown of any kind ever in the history of our country, and it's just shameful. Democrats keep making history, but they're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
That's right.
The contrast is the split screen, and I've referenced that at this podium a few times already. But I just think it's an important thing to point out, because that contrast between the two parties grows more glaring with each passing day.
They're losing voters by the day.
Look at all the evidence for yourself. There is, of course, a literal split screen every day. You've got Republicans and Democrats out all over the airwaves, burning them up, speaking directly to the American people.
Yeah.
But you'll note that there's a key difference between the messages of the two sides.
That's right.
Republicans
One is no
all
message.
repeating the same simple truth, and that is why that message is resonating with the American people, and
that's right.
The polling indicates. At the same time, on the other side, the Democrats are doing their very best to obscure and create distractions from that simple truth.
That's right. And I mean, right now, the parties have never been this polarizing ever in the history of the country anywhere. This is a literal Republicans are the party of good, Democrats are the party of evil. In one side you have Republicans say Jesus is Lord, and then on the other side you have the Democrats saying we worship ourselves in the government. And I mean, it is at this point in time a party of good and morality and evil and lawlessness.
So the reason that we find it important to come out here every day and repeat again the same simple truth is because they're trying so hard to cover that up.
Yeah.
But there's also a figurative
I like Johnson.
split screen.
He's
there's
very
a literal
well-spoken.
one, but it's figurative as well. And I just wanted to spend a moment this morning and talk with you about that. On one side, you have the Republican Party, the party that controls the White House, the Senate, and
look at this guy to his right on the screen. Not his right, but your right on the screen. The guy with the red tie. He's like an attack dog. Like, he's not letting anyone touch this guy.
We call that unified government.
He's like, hey,
it's the party that won the popular vote.
Everybody calm down.
Every single swing state, and made deep inroads with voters new to the Republican base. And we received that mandate gratefully, and we went immediately to work. So since the election in November, just in the last 9.5 months of this Congress, which began in January, Republicans have delivered incredible results for the American people.
Never before seen.
We can stand up here and spend an hour going through just the bullet points and highlights of all that.
Statistic-wise, guys, I hate to keep saying it, I'm not a huge fan of Trump. But as a president, statistics, numbers, take the personality out of it. He's the best president the United States has ever had. He's got Ronald Reagan beat for sure.
But we put a few on the handy chart over here. But just think of what's been accomplished in the last 9.5 months. A couple of things listed here. We passed the historic working families tax cut, one of the most landmark pieces of legislation ever passed by the U.S. Congress.
Yeah,
for the
saved us
benefit of the
over
American
$4K.
We slashed taxes for hardworking Americans, geared for the lower and middle class earners. who needed that assistance. We cut
That's right.
hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse from government. We solved the border
Yeah,
crisis.
hundreds
We are
of
working now
billions.
to solve the crime crisis in major cities around America.
And we're
We
now tariff
strengthened
based.
Medicaid. We improved healthcare access, and we lowered premiums with our
Guys, if you don't know this, we used to primarily be a tariff-based society. And there was at one point Trump made the mention that, they used to have meetings on how to spend the money because they had so much they didn't know what to do with it. And so they created the Board of Education and they created this and they created that, trying to get rid of all this extra money. And then someone in the early 1900s had the idea, well, hey, well, it wasn't the early, it was later on, but someone had the idea, hey, why don't we tax our citizens and do away with tariffs for the most part? And then we went to income tax. And not one person in America likes paying income tax because essentially we left Europe. We left Europe because of overtaxation. We became America because we hated taxes. So it doesn't make sense to go from a system that works to some person saying, hey, we should tax our citizens and everyone's responsible and then do away with tariffs. I mean, Trump literally reversed that. So instead of us having to pay so heavy an income tax, which hopefully he's going to get on the board with no income tax, and we get primarily all of our money through trade, through tariffs, which is good. I mean, that's where America's wealth has always been.
legislation.
Hopefully that
We've
happens.
restored peace through strength.
That's right.
Thanks be to God.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
ending wars around the globe. And we've restored common sense to a government that sorely needed it.
Thank the
That's
Lord. Yeah.
part of the mandate that was given to us by the American people in the fall. And most recently, we did our jobs, and we passed a clean, nonpartisan CR to keep the government open for the people.
Yeah.
Now look on the other side of that figurative split screen, as demonstrated here. The lights are out. It's all dark.
Let's talk
Why?
about
Because
Biden's.
what the Democrats have accomplished in 9.5 months is a government shutdown.
Yep.
A couple other things sort of related to that. They have made a lot of TikTok videos. We give them credit for that. They've also assaulted law enforcement officers when I was
That's
on
right.
trial for that.
That's right.
They've openly embraced and rallied with communists and socialists, most
That's right.
recently across the country on Saturday.
No kings.
They voted to raise taxes on millions of hardworking Americans at the worst possible time.
I mean, a lot of these people are diehard Democrats, and some people who are watching this video are diehard Democrats. But what I've come to find out is when a diehard Democrat is willing to sit down and have a conversation about facts, not this statistic, this, that, the other. We're talking pure facts like, this happened and this person did this and this is what they voted for. And this many people voted for the biggest tax hike in history. The Democrats genuinely, factually, do not have an argument to stand on that is good. Everything they are doing, and I do mean everything, and that is fact checkable, is pure evil, and it is destroying their customer base, their voters. The Republicans are not that way. Even if you don't like the Republicans, you could be a moderate, but just once you hear the facts of the Democrat Party, you just cannot be a Democrat. I mean, they are completely evil, anti-Trump, anti-good, anti-God. It's terrible. It's terrible.
They have voted against reducing fraud, waste, and abuse in government, and they have now voted collectively, Democrats in Congress have voted 12 times to keep the government closed down.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop there. The Democrat shutdown is a glaring example of just how far the Democratic Party has strayed from common sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember the simple truth here. It was over a month ago now that we passed, the Republicans passed the clean, short-term continuing resolution. It's nonpartisan. No gimmicks, no tricks, no riders, no partisan Republican policy priorities added to that. It's 24 pages in length, as we've discussed so many times, and it is very...
And it was passed under Joe Biden's administration, the exact same budget, 13 times, and the Democrats approved it. And all of a sudden, the Republicans say, we can have that same budget. We won't add anything. We won't change anything. And they voted against it 12 times. Because it has Trump's name on it.
It was a very simple good faith effort on our part to preserve our ability to keep negotiating on the full year funding bills. And of course, the other big issues facing the American people. So we wanted to keep the lights on. But what did the Democrats do?
Yep.
Instead of receiving that, voting for it, as they have always done in the past. They broke from history,
Wow.
and they rejected that. And they offered a counterproposal. Ours was a clean CR. We call theirs
Repeal,
a dirty CR, and you all know
repeal the
why.
big beautiful bill.
Because they added $1.5 trillion in new spending that would be a mandate,
Well, not only that, they added 500 billion on top of that 1.5 trillion.
including hundreds of billions of
Yeah.
taxpayer dollars for health care for illegal aliens. Go to
Yep.
page 57, section 2141 of what they filed.
Yep.
They want to restore funding for left-wing pet projects in foreign countries. And I've given you a list of.
They wanna make the kids they wanna make the gay kids in Ecuador transition. They wanna give condoms to Gaza. They wanna help Iran nuclearize. That's what they're trying
Some
to
of the
do.
crazy things that they
They're turning the dogs gay, okay? They're eating the
would
dogs.
include in that. $500 million for liberal news outlets like NPR and PBS on the backs of taxpayers, and the removal. Remember, they wanted to eliminate the $50 billion that Republicans got signed into law by President Trump on July 4th to
Yep.
prop up our rural hospitals. And here's
Ah.
the kicker. The Democrats can't even agree on what they want right now.
Ooh.
If you polled congressional Democrats on what it would take to reopen the government, you
Yeah.
would not get a
Nope.
uniform answer.
You get 1 million.
Every reporter in the room, by the way, should be asking them that question. Democrats put together this haphazard grab bag of crazy leftist policy proposals.
And look, the problem with this is I'm not against Democrats. Democrats are people. God died for people. Jesus died for our sins. Democrats are in that category. What I'm after is common sense and coming back to God. There's a peace that I have as a Christian that I feel no Democrat has. And because part of being a Democrat is to denounce God. I mean, in every form. When you shirk away wisdom and goodwill and good faith, and you're not willing to talk to people, and you're a party of violence, and you're a party of holding people hostage and hurting people, you are against God, and God will curse you. I'm not against the people. I'm against the party, the ideology. I mean, it is pure evil from the pits of hell. And I want to see these people have the peace that I have, but it's just like it's fighting an uphill battle. When you try and talk to them, it's just violence. They believe your words are violent. They get angry at what you believe. They say, "How dare you believe this?" and they attack you. And it's like, why can't we just have a conversation? I would much rather you have a soul and go to heaven, but agree with Democrats on some things, but be a moderate, because you will be identified based on your party. That is something God's going to look at when you enter the pearly gates. God does not entertain delusions, and, numbers don't lie. So factually, I want to see these people saved, and I want to help them. But what they're doing, unfortunately, is they're eradicating any chance that they have to get new voters. In fact, their voters are driving away in record numbers. They're not going to be able to get anyone on the political stage for the next 20 years. And it's concerning, because what that means is the right wingers, if we get extreme right wingers, it's going to become an echo chamber of delusions, and we're not going to have any competition, because right now the Democrats are not competition in the slightest. And that's not good for the Republicans either. It may sway me to be more of a moderate, or someone who doesn't even vote at some point. But that's the world we're living in.
When they knew that it would not be agreed upon, and they knew that it was clear that Republicans were working to do the responsible thing and offer a clean CR to fund the government. That's our most basic job here.
Yep.
In their desperation now, they're trying their very best to somehow blame Republicans for the forthcoming health care crisis that they themselves created.
Yep.
By way of just very quick review.
They've done that over the last 20 years. Like, Obama was the start of all that.
For the record, because they're trying to obscure this as well. Let's remember the true origins of the boondoggle that is American health care under Obamacare.
Yeah.
Democrats wrote that bill. They passed it into law without a single Republican vote. During the COVID pandemic, Democrats created temporary Obamacare credits, again, without a single Republican vote.
Yeah.
Democrats then voted to extend those credits. They set the expiration date on it. And then when they held the majority in the Senate, it was Democrats
Oh,
who
Lord.
chose not to extend those credits beyond this year. Now, as we approach their own self-imposed expiration date, Now they are breathlessly insisting to you, and on all the interviews, that somehow it's a Republican crisis. Give me a break.
Look, they say, I hear this argument all the time. Well, the Republicans have the majority in the House and the Senate. Okay, 53 out of 60. So assuming all 53 vote yes, they still need 7 votes. Period. End of story. No way to debate it. That's the end of the story. So Democrats are 100% responsible. That is a fact. There's no debating that. The numbers don't lie.
The facts are the facts. We are up here saying, sharing the simple facts and truth.
Yeah, let's get the
Shutdown
government
said
open.
vets are
Let's pay
studying things.
people.
Democrats are the ones.
Look, Democrats get paid if you open the government. Democrats get social benefits. Democrats get protection from the military. Democrats, and the reason they're doing this is because they know after this is passed, it is impossible for anyone to repeal the big beautiful bill. That's really what's going on here. They hate the big beautiful bill because it's Trump's steam engine. It's Trump engine that is going to establish all of his priorities. The big beautiful bill is the engine that drives Trump's agenda forward. And Democrats voted for it. It passed. It's in law now. So it had to pass in the House and it had to pass in the Senate, and it did. It passed both, and now it's into law. So
who manufactured this entire situation without a single
they're just
Republican
hurting
vote.
themselves,
And now,
man.
when the chickens are coming back home to roost, they're trying to blame the other team.
That's right.
It is utter nonsense, and you should call them on it. That's
Yeah.
the job of the press, and continue to do that every single time. Clearly,
Well, the press is Democrat, unfortunately, so that's not going to happen.
this is a complicated issue. This whole
They should, though.
healthcare subsidy thing, and there's hundreds of different views on it, as I've explained. So Republicans cannot and will not solve it in a backroom deal. Chuck Schumer has been suggesting that 4 leaders should go into a smoke-filled back room like they used to do in the old days and create this solution. It's not a
Back in the old days, they used to beat the tar out of people that didn't agree with them, and they'd hide the body. That's what they used to do in the old days. Ah, Lord.
Shut the hell up, Joe. Shut up.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really like Mike Johnson. He does a wonderful job of laying it all out. He's got facts. He's based, and by looking at him, he looks kind of like a Brit. With the glasses, the nice hair, and all that. The British people tend to be a little bit more, on the feminine side. And when I first saw him, I didn't think he was a Republican, but he's really based. He's got good facts, good head on his shoulders, well spoken. I really like him. But anyway, thank you again for watching the video. If you watch the entire video, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. I watched the whole video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.